Hi, everybody. How's it going, Tim? How you doing? And we're very happy to be on tonight, be able to talk to everybody and kind of share some thoughts. And so, deep dives in the desert. We just want to say hello to everybody, from Lisa and I. And I just, some of the things that we really want to tie in. And today, right, Lisa, is going to be the mindset on really how to manifest, and maybe some of the. I mean, we had some experiences this just the last few days, right?
I'm the new year coming, and like talking about just some of the things that you want to bring in, and some of the. It was really weird because it was like real time. Hey Ken, how are you? Real time stuff that we were actually dealing with too. So I'm sure everybody is, and I'm just I'm looking for the thing to pop up so that I can post it.
Yeah. So what I'll do is, as she's looking at that. So yeah. So with our, I have the frequency formula, book out there. Lisa has her visions from beyond. And what is it?
Visions of Shadows and Stars.
Yeah, I'm not good with names.
He knows that.
But yeah. Hey, Stephanie, how you doing? The reason I wanted to do the book was the manifestation. And so I've been doing it, and I really been setting my intentions, which I think is the most important thing. But just because you're doing it for a while, or in the even if you're getting started, you're human and you're going to have human emotions. So a lot of times those things can derail you, and so I felt like I was getting derailed. But
hey, Jake.
But it's having her in my corner is great, because she is a great way to she grounds me, and then I kind of come back. But what you want to do is you want to catch that negative pathology pretty quickly. And as you practice it and build that muscle, you'll catch it faster and faster and create a new pattern. And so
you're pretty good at it, honestly. You're pretty good at it. Like you'll catch yourself pretty fast. And truth, he really helped me this week, because I just wasn't seeing it. And he was like, okay, it's like, listen how you're saying that, but think about how you would normally word that. And do you hear the difference in what you're saying? And I was kind of like, oh, yeah.
Because words actually, they really do matter.
They do.
And you probably know, either some of us use it, or people in your family may use it. But like, if something happens, it could be a minor event, but they'll say, "What a catastrophe! This is horrific. And what they don't realize is that what the subconscious is getting, even though they probably don't really mean it, but they're just trying to really show what they were, feeling. They're creating a chemical response in their body, and the subconscious don't know the difference if it's a real catastrophe or it's not. So when you use these hyperbolic words for everything, it's damaging, because where your focus goes, that's where your energy goes.
It makes so much sense, because it's like, that everything has a frequency, right? And so even the words and everything that we use, they carry a frequency with them. The tone of each letter, and when you're pronouncing things and you're saying things, you're putting a frequency in there. Mm-hmm. And you think about that you're speaking and you're manifesting that. You're literally spell casting. And then on top of that, if you're carrying around like a negative emotion, and you're feeling badly about something, or angry or stressed or whatever it is, and you have that, imagine the potency of that frequency in your field, that you're kind of carrying around with you. Right. And it's really important. And you are really good at kind of catching it right away, going, oh, do you hear that? How do we have to say it differently, or whatever. So I do appreciate that you always.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, yeah. Well, you do it for me most times. I just use every device she gives me. I just give back.
Oh.
But no, but yeah. So, and using using some of the codes, and what I want to do is I think I'm gonna maybe I don't know, maybe do a blog or something, because I've been using quite a few of the codes, and some of the ones for abundance, and she'll tell you that. I was looking for a different job, and I'm looking, and there was nothing. And
I mean, months.
Yeah, months.
We're talking about months of putting out stuff, and we were like starting to go like, is it ageism? Is it,
And let me, I have a
very impressive
heavy-
resume.
a
Not
heavy
to
resume.
be braggadocious, but seriously, he has a very, very good resume, and it was like nothing. And
Yeah. And all of a sudden,
we were doing the codes.
Yeah.
I'm serious, you guys. Like I'm serious. We were doing the codes, and it was like what, 3, 4?
Yeah, 3, 4 days.
3 or 4 days, but also 3 or
3 or 4 opportunities.
opportunities.
I could not believe how quickly it came in, and all of a sudden, that people were asking me, "Hey, did you find that? Oh, come over here." Well, and I was just like, it was. They were calling. I couldn't believe it.
Because you're putting an intention.
Yeah.
You're actually using a frequency, and the same thing works with just like our words, numbers. Have a frequency too, and you're putting this in. You're dialing it in for an exact thing that you want, very specific. And okay, so that was yours, right?
Yep.
And then for me, I have been working on a couple of them as well. And I had crazy manifestations too that were coming through for me. First of all, for my I was talking a little bit last time when we were talking about your book. I was talking about how I was asking for basically to enhance my abilities, because sometimes, even though I'm vision heavy, I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at, right? So I have been, with my guidance, moving into a place where I'm being approached for channeling, And I still have questions. I'm not all in yet. I'm kind of like, okay, wait, so exactly who am I doing? Who is it? But like, I'm realizing like, this is probably the next step for me, is going to be going into a more of a channeling type of situation. And my guidance has been in my ears this is the 5th day now, where it's just been loud and a lot of ongoing conversations all day long about it. So it's interesting. And then the other thing was, I was also looking for like abundance, things like that, and not just financial abundance, but just abundance in different ways. And it was like, I got kind of quiet and reserved over the last couple of weeks and stuff. And I had my beautiful friends reaching out to me, and I mean, not to talk about the conversations, but I'll say, Allison has been reaching out to me. Solrita was reaching out to me, and her and I, we'll talk and leave like little chatty messages, but she actually called me on the phone. We were on the phone for like an hour and 20 minutes. She's in Australia. It's like a whole different thing. And then Katie Mabry, and the other Katie from Katie and the Chorus. Yeah. It was like bam, 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 bam. And all of these phone calls were, like I said, I'm not going to get into exactly, but let me just say that they were about, partnership and building together and doing things. And it was really profound and beautiful. And I, except to say that we were on that show that we were talking about, wanting to work on a few things. I mean, that's the extent of how much I was talking to them about it. And for all of that to kind of come through like that. And we're talking about days, like, right? What was that in, like 3 days? Probably 2 days. Well, Katie was of course was maybe a day before.
So a day after Katie, then 2 days, and then Sarita called and Katie called, and
Allison, and
that's why, it took me, both of us actually, a while to come around to like online friends and stuff, because our generation, we used to go walk down a block and ring someone's bell to see if they were home, and so this is a whole new thing, and I just didn't think this would ever would happen. But we have friends that we've met and have now online that are more like family than family. Yeah, and it's endearing, and it's really been beautiful. Amazing. So
and Phil too. Like, I don't want to forget about Phil. Yeah. Phil also, was having a conversation, with our friend Phil too. That we I don't know if you guys saw the one that we did with Phil and Katie, where we were talking about Bigfoot and things like that. He's going to come back on. We were supposed to do another show yesterday actually, and it was me. I screwed it up, but they were like super busy, so they were like, it's okay. But anyway, so it's just been the Grab a Voice stuff. You know what I think? I think you could almost do it immediately. If even more immediate. Like, this felt really fast to us. But it takes a minute for the learning curve of not allowing yourself to doubt.
Right, exactly.
I really think that's the component. That's the component of it. It is like going in and being all in, right? And it's like, I don't know if you guys, anybody watches Marina Jacoby, but I remember her saying before when she was talking about manifesting, it's like, if you have a movie that you're trying to watch or you're trying to see and you download, you can't download it and watch it at 99%, right? It has to be 100% downloaded. And it's the same thing with manifestation. You can't be 99% in and have 1% doubt and think it's going to come through for you. That's not how it works. You have to be all in and you have to do that. And I think once we got to the point where we were just like comfortable being all in, it just was like this, you know, it was like a snowball.
Well, you know, a lot of people do. And it's not that they're lying, but they almost lie to themselves and like, I am committed because you may be 80%.
You want it.
Yeah, you want it. And so, but when you look at it, if you're saying you are certain that a certain outcome is going to happen, then I ask, can you have 0.0001% doubt?
Yeah.
No, but because if you have just that little bit of doubt, you're not certain. And if you don't have that certainty, it's not going to work.
Stephanie's right. You have to have that inside yourself and just know that, you know, you can do this and you're going to do it. And, you know, you just have to see it that way. Not, it would be nice if, but I'm doing it. That's
I'm going to try. And, you know, listen, it's always said, right? If you are perceiving it, if it's a goal you have, you already have it. It's yours, except for your limiting beliefs and not, you know, matching that frequency. But once you do, you already have it. So that's why be bold with your goals, because if you're, what happened?
I was just reading that and I was like, wow, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I don't know. But, you know, one of the things that I think is really important, because if you follow the protocol and you're doing it 3 times a day, what's happening is, you know, you're doing affirmations, right? And you're living in gratitude. So when you live in gratitude, when you are affirming yourself with true belief, there is no way for depression, fear, lack, you know, scarcity, none of that can creep in. There's too much dissonance there. It's just not going to happen. So when you're there all the time, I think that the codes, the numeric codes, yes, they're in specific patterns for a reason. But it's so important, intention and mindset. And if you're in the right mindset all day, 3 times a day, if it's keeping you there and you're practicing and building that muscle and stopping the pattern of that negativity quickly and getting back, that's, I think, when we're going to start to see manifestations quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker.
I think so too.
I think that's
okay, you have to read in that thing.
Okay.
It's like,
I had the coolest thing happen. I used a Grabovoi number that came up on my Genius biofeedback system. I woke with back pain. I woke with back pain at 3 a.m. So I repeated it a few times, 100% relief. Did you see? I don't know if you saw what happened with me. She sent me the code for lower back pain because my back was out for about 2 weeks. And on the last day, I couldn't even sit I couldn't sit. So all night I was actually pacing the house because I couldn't sit. And she forwarded to my phone the Grabovoi code, but I was in such pain. I literally wanted to throw my phone through the wall because I was like, get out of here with it. But I took a couple of breaths standing, and I was getting so tired. I started with intention. I calmed myself down, and I got myself in the right spot. And I did the whole protocol. I sat down and I just passed out. I was so tired. I woke up. I jumped off that recliner with such excitement because I had no pain. I ran up the stairs, and my mother-in-law was sitting on her bed trying to put lotion on her calf, and I just engulfed her with a hug. And she was like, "Oh, okay, what's going on?" And I was like, "My back doesn't hurt. My back was out severely."
Like we were gonna go get him adjusted, and then maybe urgent care if that didn't work. So it was crazy.
I can't believe you got that too, and that I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, that was incredible. And it's funny. It's like you just have to you got to be all in. That's really the thing. You got to be all in. And now like, it's not one thing. It's not two things. We're
Yeah.
working on 4 now.
Yeah.
We're working on 4, you guys. Like, I'm serious. It's so crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Now wait till we do combos. We're going to start putting. I'm going to start putting some combos together where we're going to start
Yeah.
manifesting multiple different areas: spirituality, financial abundance, and for relationship to keep getting stronger. Because as we get stronger, we move our frequency and potency for our whole household. So, we're going to start to do combos. 1, 2, 3, boom. Combos, baby.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. So it was an incredible week, and just seeing these things manifest in real time. And I think as the frequencies and everything happen anyway, like, your intentions are going to work that way no matter what it is you're doing. So you have to be really careful, because if you are in a negative space or you're doing things, I think the frequency's there, the energy's there for you to, manifest that immediately also.
The double-edged sword.
It is. So, use it to your benefit. Stay positive. If you don't have a great coach like I do with John, then you know what? Contact us via the DM or however you want to do it. And we'll be your coach. We'll tell you, you can do this, and remember the way you're saying it and what you're saying. And
yeah. And you want to know that some of the people that did reach out and said, hey, I'm having trouble with this, or I didn't feel this, or I didn't feel that. What I did was I just went step for step. I said, okay, so tell me, journal what you did. So go back and tell me exactly what you did. And if they can't remember, I say, okay, do the same thing that you did yesterday, do today, but write down every step you took. And then I went through with them. Most times they either are forgetting to set the attention, they're forgetting to really bring that intention to life with the numbers and see them out there and the emotion behind it. And then most of them, they said it, but then they're not thinking it's already done. You just need to do your steps to get there, but it's done. You have it ready. And if you have your goal, if whatever code you use, if you feel inside that you have that, say it's abundance in finances, whatever, and you have it already, how would you be walking around? Are you going to be walking around like the depressed smoke before you put the code in? No, you're going to walk around with your shoulders back. Your presence is going to hit the room before you hit the room. And if you start to do that, you get into your Hyundai, but you think you're in a Bentley, you're going to drive that car differently. That's the truth. And so those are the things that I see that are missing. So, it's really important that if you can get it right, because I think it can make such a difference.
And then yesterday we were talking to Katie and Phil, and she was saying, we were talking about this being like the year of the snake, the Chinese New Year. Of course, our New Year just happened, and then also having a new moon and utilizing those energies to, manifest what it is that you want in the universe. She was like, journal. Katie was telling me journals, like, get it down, write it down, what it is that you want. So we sat there for a good half hour and wrote, you wrote like 2 pages. I wrote like a page and a half, but, of like manifestation stuff. So use this time. It's not a certain day. It's the energies that are here right now. So use it and really call something in to yourself. Find the Grab Avoid code that's going for what it is that you want and put it there. It's just another layer. Right? Because you're using the energy. That's 1. You're putting your emotion into it. You're feeling. That's 2. You're putting an intention into that. That's 3. You're taking an action by writing something down and doing, something physical about it. And you're using another part of your brain when you're writing. It's like you're layering to get this in there and get the frequency where you want it, So it's just a really powerful tool.
And once you write it and recite it and recite it with don't be bashful when you do it. That was one of my things too. Like I would be like, I want to make $1 million, because I don't want people to look at me like, are you crazy? And so the 2 things I realize is that if those people are going to have the same opinion, whether I say it loud or low. So I'm going to say it the way I need to say it to make sure I do manifest it, number 1. Number 2, if I want to say manifest finances, do you think there's a difference if I want to manifest $10 or $10 million? Absolutely not. there is
just the action.
no difference. And it's just a belief in yourself and the confidence where you think like, I make 50,000 a year. How am I going to make 10 million? That doesn't even make sense. So that's a limiting belief, right? That's limiting. And I'm not saying it's easier said than done. And because that was one of my blockages for a while. I had to unblock that. I had to work to unblock that. But once I did it, there's no, when you write.
You blew up actually the income you were bringing in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Once you did that.
Yeah. Once I blew through that limitation, my income
knocked it out of the park. I mean, we're doing great.
Yeah. So don't limit yourself. And it's like, don't make no one's going to tell you what you are or are not worth. What do you want to do? If you can see it and you can put the intention behind it, you already own it. The universe owes you that. And you have to go after it and get it. So thank the universe for opening up and giving you the riches that you deserve, that are already yours by birthright. And that's it. And believe it.
Yeah.
That's it.
One of the reasons that we really wanted, this, we wanted to talk about just that mindset of manifesting and manifestation.
Because we're built different.
Oh, that was intense.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure why that just happened, but yeah.
Because we're built different, and we got to go for it. Okay. You got to be bold, baby. Fortune favors the bold.
Okay. Anyway, so we were talking about that, and then we were also going to start talking about, because you keep seeing, I keep seeing, I don't know if you guys are too, but seeing people are talking about a lot about, the ET stuff, portals right now, talking about,
I was going to say, do you want me to, you want to do this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, we were just,
here's Phil.
Hey, Phil, we were just talking about you. What's going
on, Phil?
But we were talking about, some of that stuff, and we were thinking, like, we have experiences with this stuff. I mean, like, a lot of it's in my book. Some stuff didn't make it in my book. I decided bravely, you guys, that I am going to share with you some of the sketches that, okay, I'm not a professional drawer, so you guys better not make fun of me. But when I would have encounters with beings, and so I'm going to share some of them with you tonight. Not all of them, because I have a journal of things, but I'm going to show you some. We're going to share some stories about what happened in that interaction, and also just talk a little bit about some of the things that we touched on in my book, but maybe we didn't get as far into it, or there was a little bit more to it. So we put together. Yeah, I had Johnny put together some of the stuff for me, so he put it together like on a little slide thing, so we can run through it a little bit, but. We'll just talk about, we thought it would be fun to kind of go through. Oh, fancy. Very fancy, honey.
All right. So we're going to go to the first one, guys. Hopefully you can see the screen. I know you can. I'm not say hopefully. All right. So this is being one. What do we have here, babes?
Okay. So the very first one where it's the bald-headed blue being. I hope you guys are not making fun of my thing. They're a little stretched. It's not exactly, that's not exactly what it was. But anyway, she is one of the first beings that I encountered. I was asking about seeing some of my past lives. At the time, I thought, it was a past life thing, not like simultaneous life thing. So anyway, I was, what are you doing?
I wanted to see, so I can see the comments if they were commenting.
Oh.
Guys, I'll go back to the comments after the 2 slides.
Anyway, so she was somebody that, one of the first lives that I saw her. And it was so funny because my first reaction to seeing her, she was kind of sideways. And she was doing something at like a table kind of a thing. It was almost like the equivalent. It didn't look like it, but it was almost the equivalent of like somebody working at a computer kind of a thing. It was kind of similar to that. And I remember that when I saw her, I was disappointed. I was kind of like, of course, it had to be a bald blue being. I couldn't be like this beautiful Pleiadian, right, with like the long blonde beautiful hair. I had to be like this bald beautiful this little bald being. And when I said that, she turned she had been sideways and she turned and she looked at me. She looked right at me. And I was like looking at her face for a minute. And, you know, it was kind of pretty in its way. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I guess for, you know, what she is, she's not bad. She's pretty, you know, whatever. But I mean, I laugh at that now because, and when I was telling actually Jackie Kenner about it, I was laughing because I'm thinking, like, meanwhile, who cares? Like, you just found out you were a blue being. Like, you're really worried about what it looks like. But anyway,
the cheekbones aren't perfect.
Her head is bulbous.
Yeah.
No, but you know, I was just like, anyway. So she was the first being that I saw, and as soon as I kind of got done, I drew her. So this is that first one right there. Yeah, that's
right.
her.
And then who's this?
That was one of probably 3 different fairies that I had seen. And this particular one flitted up right in my face. And I heard the buzzing. It sounded like, and she came so close that she, like I looked directly at her and she was little. She was probably about that big. But she made a sound almost like you would think like a bee, but it sounded faster.
I guess
and it was floodier than that. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, and then she just kind of zoomed off and it was so fast when she zoomed off. Go off of the thing real quick. We'll just want to see if there's any questions. If you guys have questions about any of that, or you want me to expand on the experiences of it or whatever, I can do that. You can't see the drawings. The slides aren't showing.
Oh, really?
So if you show, okay, hold on. We're going to try to figure this out. Reset slides.
Oh, wait, what's this?
PDF. Is that it? You have no slides. Maybe it's got to be in Google. Oh, that's such a bummer.
I wonder why you can't share that.
I don't know. We're going to try to figure it out really quick and just see if we can. So it's only those.
Select here the tie screen window. Share that.
Okay, that's a bummer. Oh, I wanted to show you guys.
Is it? How do we normally show them?
Probably Google. You could maybe try to download to Google, and then we can look and see if we can do it that way. That's such a bummer. Does anybody know how to do that, where you can like share? Oh, and remember you got cocky? I just remembered that. You totally got cocky just a few minutes ago, and you're like, "Can you guys see the thing?" I don't even have to ask you guys if you see it. I know you guys see.
Look, screen sharing. Screen sharing. Can you see? You guys can see this? I don't know why I'm screaming.
Yeah, I don't know why you're screaming either.
Can you see that?
No, they're not the same. That's why I really wanted to show you.
What's not the same?
The blue beings.
Yes, look, they can see. Yeah, see.
So he can see that.
They can see that.
Okay.
Is it
Ken was asking, were they the same blue beings that were at Mount Charleston? And it's not. So
and that was crazy. I didn't realize that you saw the blue. When I actually saw it on the picture, I was like, "You got to be kidding me."
Do you remember when we had a really big one in the front yard and I took a picture of it? Do you know I can't find that picture? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my gosh. I even posted it on Facebook at the time and I cannot find it. This was one of those beings that were like that, but it was really tall and big, like the one we saw at Mount Charleston. And it was in our side yard by like the gate that we go from the front yard to the backyard. Yeah. And I had a picture of it and I cannot find that picture for anything. Oh, I'm so bummed. I really wanted to show you. I mean, I could get my book and see if I get. Should I do that? Should I try to just because I want to show them a couple of pictures, right?
Yeah. Get out. I'll get out. Yeah, I'll just. I want.
They don't want to see you staring at. Just
I'll talk about something.
Just go ahead and go off of that real quick. Okay, I'm gonna go see if I can find my stuff, guys.
All right. All right, I'm going get back on. Okay, so she's going to go and look for that, and we'll just get back into it. Yeah, so some of the things that she was drawing, and it's pretty incredible. But there's a couple of things that I think really set her on her path where she really felt strong, and she'll tell you about the situation with the gray, I think it was, that came into her space. And, you would think most people probably would get scared. And I think that's what they count on, the fear factor. And so we don't take our power, because when you're in your sovereignty and your power, there's no one stronger, right? You can tell people you're not welcome. Boom, get away. But she didn't have a minute of that, and she got pissed, actually. And so, but once she realized how powerful she is, and if she has her sovereignty, she in her realm or in her field, that there's no one is going to come in and dictate what she does or what she don't do, or they're going to do anything. So I think that was one of the inflection points for her to really start moving forward, I think.
Yeah, that was. I heard a little bit what you were saying. I was looking for both of my books. So the being that I hope she's in here. Might not be the book.
But yeah. So anyway, but she really gets a lot of like of the visuals like that. In that, but it all comes from once you get set down a path. That's why it's important to keep following like the processes, right? It's so important to continue to meditate, to continue to push your limits. If you're going to put protection around around you, then she started to put a protection around her and I. Right?
I gotta see if I can. I'm just gonna try to pull it up on Canva and show you guys on my phone, and hopefully the lights are not gonna screw it up, because this is the wrong sketchbook. This is another sketchbook that I do for my daughter when she asks me to sketch things, or she used to ask me all the time. It's like fish and wolves, and so it's not
she draws good with some of the stuff.
No,
but with aliens it's kind of rough because of the different shapes and
you can't do them justice. Like, they look cartoony, at least the way I draw, they look cartoony, and they're not. They're like, especially this one that I want to show you too, that's like
that's true. You can take a picture of the screen and show them on your phone.
You actually took a picture and capture it digitally. No, I didn't. Is that what she's saying? Did I? Is she asking me if I did, or are you asking me if I did, Annette, or I did not? But hold on, I have some.
Well, look, you can take a picture on your phone or show them right on your phone.
Well, I have them here.
Here's another one, another.
Yeah. I have some of those up here. So I'm going to show, just go ahead and go to, so, okay, here's this. It's going to be kind of small. Okay, can you go off of there so I can make sure that this is, okay, let's see. No. Can you turn off that light? Let's see. If I turn it, can you see? No, it just looks like.
That's too, no,
it's not going to work. Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out how to.
You can't paste the picture in here either.
Can't get it. You guys, I'm trying to play with it because I'm trying to see if I can get her. Oh, I almost saw her. Can you see her? Oh, kind of see her. Yeah. There it is. Can you see it?
Yep, there it is. You can see it now. Can
you see that?
You guys can see that?
Can you see? I think. Anyway, that's her. That's the blue being. No, this is the one that was me. That was me. It's kind of.
No, they can see it. There it is. You can see it.
Yeah, it's not.
I think that light's killing it.
Okay.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. Anyway, that's her. That's the blue being. That was me. That I recognized to be myself. So that was crazy.
And she was like, "Hi, self."
And then this is the fairy.
Oh, there it is.
That buzzed in my face. Okay, so this is the fairy that buzzed in my face. Let's see. There, you try. This is so stupid, you guys. We totally had this figured out for you. No. It's like, don't show us. No, it's not happening. Oh, I'm so bummed. You know, what if do you think we could show Canva, you guys? I bet you we could show Canva. Let's do that. Okay, hold on.
Yes, we can. Oh, we can see it.
Okay. Well,
I wonder if could they have seen it? We just saw it. It don't look good on our thing.
I'm going to go on Canva really quick, guys. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to go on Canva. Hopefully they can see as far as.
Can I tell you, it took me an hour to put that damn slideshow together.
Oh.
I wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah. There it is.
Okay. How do we make this bigger? Can we make it bigger?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh
shit.
Okay, so let's try this. Is it on there? Okay, you do that because you're better, and I want to screw it up. Oh my god, you guys, this is crazy. Okay.
All right. Well.
Okay. Okay. So the blue being, then the one to the right of it is the fairy.
Yeah.
And then so that's where we were at this point, was like the blue being is the one that was me. Looking at me when I was asking to see the past life.
That's the fairy.
The fairy is the one that flew in my face.
Now, who's this?
Okay, so this one, I was doing a
bottom left.
I was doing a meditation about. You want to make it bigger? So can you scoot him up?
Mm-hmm.
He looked like an albino Asian person.
And he's a they them.
Babe, stop. It's not funny.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so he put that one up too. He was Lemurian, and I still don't know. I thought that maybe he was an aspect of me too, that I was looking at from that time. And I saw two when I was doing a Lemurian meditation at that time. I saw two. I saw a very Polynesian looking girl, and then I saw him. So I thought that was really interesting. And he was like training or doing something, but he was like albino looking, like his hair. I just needed to show it so I could see it, but it was white. It was absolutely white. His skin was very, very pale, but
like the movie Powder.
But his features were Asian.
Oh,
looking.
wow.
So
that's interesting.
It was interesting.
Wow.
I thought that was,
And then who's this dude?
Okay, so this guy I cannot do any justice to, you guys, but this was a reptilian that actually came and stood in front of me. And I talk about this story in my book. He was actually, like, he looks kind of cartoony, but he had very blue eyes, and they almost looked like LED lights.
Wow.
And his skin was, like snake looking almost, and it was black, but it had an iridescence to it, and it almost looked like, that rainbowy kind of, it had like a bluish kind of tone and a purplish tone kind of going on it in the iridescence of it. And he was really tall. You can go back to and stop sharing screen for a minute. He was standing in front of me, and like I said, I spoke about him in my book. I got really aggressive because I had heard nothing good about reptilians, and they were he was standing there, and so I was kind of like barking at him like a chihuahua to a when they see those big dogs. I was like that. I was like, so what? No, what now? You're in front of me, so what does that mean? Like, now you're gonna do something, And he was just like staring at me, like really calm. He didn't have like a negative anything. And I could see behind him, it looked like the roof was like this, like a cave, because it had like that rounded, like almost dugout kind of look, except there was a squared off area too that was like a hallway off to the side. And there were other reptilians. One of them looked just like an alligator, like an alligator face, but like a human body.
Oh, wow.
It was bizarre. And then there was another one that kind of looked like a raptor. And they were like moving crates and stuff. They were like doing stuff behind him, but he was like standing in front of me, just standing there. And anyway, I was super aggressive with him and kind of shocked. And then after that happened, when he didn't do anything, he didn't say anything, he didn't do anything. But he did have very dragon energy. And you know what? I thought to myself after the fact, like this, I don't think these are the reptilians that people are talking about, because he, first of all, didn't look like that. But secondly, he didn't act like that. Like he wasn't trying to intimidate me or
Oh,
anything.
yeah, look, it says, Stephanie, I have a reptilian guide that is a hybrid and is super gentle.
Wow.
So you know what? You probably
That's
like every
important.
other whatever species, whatever, you have your goods and the bad,
Well, and Jackie Kenner told me, she said,
none are good and bad, right?
no, she said the universe is a huge place.
Mhm.
And we hear about a handful of things, but there's hundreds of millions or billions of different types of beings. And we probably don't even have names for all of them, or, the slightest idea who they are. And even though they can look alike, there could be a ton of them that look like grays, for instance.
Yeah.
But they're not all the same. And if they come from different areas, they could have done things differently. So that's kind of how I thought to look at him.
And you know what I always look at it too is like, we try to do the right thing, but to the cow, right, or to that we're eating, if we're eating steak, right, or we step on an ant, right, to the ant, we're probably mass murdering evil people, but we're really not. So I guess it just depends on what
Perspective.
what perspective you're coming from. If you're the bad guys or the good guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was, let me find the other thing. So those were some of the, first beings that I kind of had something to, like, I kind of saw. And then, I don't know what that one is. Let me see, uploads.
So, yeah. So, and some of these things, when I was putting it together, I was kind of remembering, everything that was happening kind of along the way. And then as she put it together for her book, I started to remember, some of these things that she's saying. But she was actually, as she was writing the book, she was having such a growth spurt that she was having like a more of an evolution to the story. And she was like, should I put it in the book? And I just figured this was her. She really wanted to put it out for people who were going through that initial journey, getting through it, and trying to be sane about it and have their family go along with them. So she has more to add to some of these that are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You want me to share?
That was, yeah. And then, okay, so let me just give you the background on this next one. So this next one, I was meditating, and and this is in the book. I was meditating, and I started going out into like space, and I felt my body sometimes, not every time I meditate, but sometimes I would feel, when you feel like you're lifting yourself off of the bed. I did that, and I was like traveling through like black, and then all of a sudden I was seeing like zooms of lights, like Star Wars, when they kind of go into that like hyper spacing. I saw that, and then I go into this place where I'm coming up, and I could see this planet, and it's off to the side, and from far away it looks kind of like purple and lavenders and all of this stuff. And as I start getting closer to it, I realized that was kind of the atmosphere. But when you broke through that, it kind of there was like water, and there was, trees and stuff. And then I was going right to this like cave. And I remember thinking back on it, and I was kind of like, how did I even know where to go or what? It was just like I was racing to this place. I get to this place where there's this cave, and I go into the cave, and I saw this being. And this is like kind of a childlike drawing, you guys, but I tried to do the best I could because he's kind of weird looking. So his head was bald and big and bulbous. And then he had these weird, it almost looked like a croissant wrapped around the back of his head. And it came down where he would have ears and a jawline. It kind of came down around that, but it looked almost like an exoskeleton. It wasn't hair, and it wasn't like skin. It looked like almost like, it reminds me of kind of like what a cockroach is. Like outside would be, like that. Anyway, his eyes were glowing yellow, and I got this really bad feeling. And he was sitting, and the space behind him had this red glowing light, and then off to.
I think I got it.
What are you doing? We were.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
One second.
Oh my gosh. Soul. Hey, Soul. We were talking about you. Why did you stop in the middle of that?
Because I just learned how to do it.
Oh, okay. We're going to try to. Okay. I'm just going to tell you guys this story anyway.
Yeah, keep going.
he was standing in front of this podium thing that was like a big crystal. It was like, I think it was like obsidian-ish kind of looking, because it had like grooves in it and everything. I don't know exactly what it was, but it felt like it was very important. And as soon as I came in, he saw me. Are they seeing this? I think they're seeing all this that you're doing.
Okay. Well, if they are, let me know.
Can you guys see that? I don't know if they can see it or not.
Can you see that?
No.
Shit.
Sorry, you guys.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyway, you guys saw the picture of the guy. But anyway, as soon as I came in, his eyes followed me. He didn't turn his head, but he followed me with his eyes. I kind of moved in and I went off to the side of him, to the right of him, and he followed me with his eyes, and I got a really bad feeling. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, it's okay. You know, some people are going to look different, even if they look scary or they're ugly or whatever. Like, you know, you don't have to be scared of them. And I felt like at that moment, the way that he kind of moved his face, it was almost like I irritated him. And I had a feeling, which I kind of laughed. You know, the picture was up there, but he took it down. I don't know what he's doing. It was on Canva, and he so
There you go. I was trying to get the whole PowerPoint up.
Anyway, okay, so this was him, but anyway, so he followed me with his eyes, and then I felt like he heard me when I was talking, and he didn't seem, you know, amused for it or whatever. And I was kind of like, that was the obsidian podium I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know if you said that right.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, you're a good helper, honey.
Mm.
Anyway, so that was that. And then I shot out of there and I left because it was really uncomfortable, and he kind of scared me. And I almost thought about not going in astral traveling, because I had another one that I had talked about in the book that was kind of negative, and then I dealt with him, and I felt like his energy was really dark, and I thought, you know what, maybe I need to get myself in like a higher vibration. And in fact, I'm sure Soul will remember this, but I actually was talking to Soul at the time about that, because I felt like maybe I was like my energy wasn't high enough, that I was like interacting with these other beings that were, did we stop screen share?
Yeah, just stop right there.
Oh, stop. I suck at this, you guys. I don't know. But I'm going to find the next one while he's doing that. But stop trying to change it now, honey.
All right. Yeah, I won't do it no more.
And then, so I had this reading with this woman, and she had told me that she saw me as like a Naga. Do you guys know what that is? Like a Naga being? And anyway, so I wanted to see what this was. And I actually saw something, but it didn't look like what I had looked up in books, because I didn't even know what a Naga was. I had no clue what it was. And I don't know for anybody that saw it, it's like this half person, half snake being. And they looked like they were females, and they wore this very ornate headdress, and they had these very ornate kind of beaded outfits, or the tops of them had that on them. And so I, wanted to look it up, and what I saw looked more like something, she looked more like something that was like more Medusa-ish. And I don't know if it was me, but I did see this being. And then another time I saw another being. So that was, okay, so her. So I saw this being, and she was wearing gold bracelets and gold around her neck and gold around her arms. And when she moved, she'd move upright like this, like she would, like standing up like this. She didn't like get down and like slither. She would be up like that. And the bottom of her would kind of sway like a little bit and move. And when she did that, her hair almost reminded me of Medusa, because it was like in thick, almost like dreadlocky looking kind of things, but it would move with it. And it kind of looked like Medusa hair, but
You want to know something though? I just wanted to say with the PowerPoint, what I said is, fellas, look at this. Look at the woman here. How do you like her? The woman which has a great tail. It was like a funny joke. Like,
okay, you can't help anymore. It's not,
but you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think we all know
But
what you're
the
saying.
guys, to give them a little, because it's so, it's very feminine oriented. But this was one for the guys, since she's actually she's a pretty
Snake.
she's a pretty snake looking thing.
Okay.
But God bless her. God bless her.
What is wrong with you? I can't even, you guys, I don't even know. What is happening?
Gosh.
I can't. You see what I deal with, you guys? This is what I do.
Not easy. She should be sainted soon.
I mean, So
see, so Rita gets my humor.
And so then the next, well, she does when she's with it. She just laughs. Anyway, so then there was that one, and then I saw another one which I didn't draw, but this one was interesting because I was still trying to see, this Naga thing. And so what this one was there was a temple, and there were these beings that were like these snake beings, and they were male and female, and I was one of them. And I remember that the people that lived there kind of were very like reverent toward them. They would kind of bow and greet them. And these beings were kind of stationed around this temple. And as I started like looking into it and feeling into it a little bit, I realized that there was something about them not being able to go into this temple or worship. There was somebody or something that felt very dark and nefarious that was trying to keep them from it. And so these beings kind of stood guard and made sure that humans could go in and do this and leave and everything safely without having kind of any issues. And but they were no joke. They were like, there was a very serious nature to them. They were, like I said, male and female, but they kind of just protected humans, and humans were grateful for that. And I saw that. So that was kind of interesting too. And then the last snake thing that I saw was a very large snake, and it was kind of hanging over like a building. It was big. It was a big snake. So I know him. He comes from Brooklyn. It was all kind of tied together. So
it's well known.
Anyway, so that was kind of the Naga ones.
Woo! All right. Who's next are you looking at? Oh, so no, just tell them the story. The last, well, not the last, but the one thing, the one that I think really was a game changer for you was the one who the gray that put the thing over your face.
Oh, yeah. So I had a reading with someone that I'm not going to mention, but in this reading, this person told me that I was reptilian. And that until I decided, and it was where my gifts came from, and until I decided to accept it and accept this reptilian thing, I wouldn't be able to really truly step into my gifts. And that this person wanted to work with me to help me with that. And, so that was kind of that. And after that happened, I kind of pulled back because I was depressed. I was like, reptilian, right? I was very upset about it for like months.
Because all you hear is bad stuff about that.
And I spoke to my guides later on, just a side note. I did speak to my guides later on, and I was like, have I been reptilian? And they were like, yes. And I was like, yes. What do you mean, yes? And they were like, yes. And all of a sudden they started lining up these people. They're like, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it went on as far as I could see. And they were like showing me every iteration of an ET that you can possibly think of. I saw mantids in there. I saw grays. I saw humanoid looking people. I saw tall, like blondes. I saw blue. I saw like Arcturian looking ones and Pleiadian looking ones and bug looking ones, and just everything you could think of, I was seeing in this line. And I said, okay, so I was a lot of things, but at the beginning, like when I broke off of source, was I a reptilian? They said no. And I said, what was I? And then they showed me, it's a long story, but they showed me a sun, like a sun, like a star, a sun. And I said, oh, I'm a star. And then, it disappeared.
She wanted to move to Hollywood then.
That's crazy. Then I wanted to. But anyway, so when that happened and I pulled back, I had a meditation that I was like sleeping in my room. No, you know what happened? That's not what happened. What happened was I was on the phone with my mom. I had dropped my daughter off at school, and she was in elementary school. And I came back and I was talking to my mom on the phone. And all of a sudden I got super, super tired, like exhausted, tired. And it was probably 9 something in the morning. So not, you wouldn't do that. And I said to my mom, Mom, I can't stay on the phone with you anymore. I'm exhausted. I got to get upstairs and just like, I've got to go take a nap. I've got to lay down. As I was walking up the stairs, my legs felt like they had lead, and it was a struggle to get up the stairs. It was bizarre. I laid down on my bed, and I guess I kind of fell asleep, although I could hear the window was cracked open, which is unusual for us in Nevada because we don't do that because it's hot and it's dusty and everything. But the window I had cracked it open. It was open. And right across the street from our old house, there was a park, literally like you'd walk
20
up.
yards away.
Yeah, it was close. And I could hear somebody there with their kids and they were playing and everything. All of a sudden, I could hear movement in my room. And I thought to myself, it was weird because I was like, John never comes home. He worked like over a half hour away from work. And plus it wasn't even lunchtime yet. Not that he would come home at lunch. It was just weird. So I went to go open my eyes to see if it was John, and I couldn't open my eyes. And then I realized that I couldn't move and I couldn't turn, and I started to panic. And as I was doing all of that, I felt the pillow that my head was on. I could feel it being pulled out from under me, but really, really slow. And then it got about halfway out and it was curving and being pushed over my face. And I started to panic because I couldn't move. And I was kind of like, oh my, and I couldn't yell. I couldn't say no. I couldn't do anything.
Bye, Soul. Love you.
Love you. See you later. And anyway, so all of a sudden, when that was like totally over my face, I jerked my head back and I got out like a no that was like a whisper. Mm-hmm. And the pillow fell to the floor, and all of a sudden I could move, and I jumped up and I was pissed, and I'm like looking for, I was like, okay, who is it? Like I'm thinking, somebody's in my house, and I'm running to my master bathroom and into where the toilet bowl was in a separate area. And I'm running over there, and I'm running to my closet, and I run down the hall to my daughter's room and her bathroom. And I'm looking, and I start running down the stairs. And I'm mad. I'm like yelling out loud, like, okay, here I am. Like, I was like a little hothead, which is not like me, but I was so mad. Anyway, once I went downstairs and I had kind of run through a little bit more and realized that there was nobody there, I was thinking to myself, like, what if it was like a 12-foot tall, like reptilian or something standing in front of me, and I'm sitting here and I was just like, I don't care. I was so mad. But anyway, after that happened, I was convinced that it was this person that told me I was a reptilian or whatever. And they sent something to me to kind of like mess with me. And so I stopped all ties with that person. The person that I had, which was a show that I had been following, like a Patreon thing that I had saw that person on, I stopped that.
Just a full pullback.
Yeah. I stopped doing everything. And I think the only person I talked to was Jackie Kenner, because I wanted to find out if she thought I was a reptilian too. I was so upset.
And Soul too.
And Soul, always Soul. I always talk to Soul. But anyway, when I went back and looked at it a few months later, because I didn't look at it right away, I didn't want anything to do with anything with it. Mm-hmm. We felt so violated that something was in my house. And that I felt drugged. I was like, what was that? Like what could have happened? I mean, now that I know more about frequency and stuff, I think that was probably what happened.
But what a range of emotions to feel that something you couldn't, you can't open your eyes, you can't move, you see your pillow move, you feel it slowly moving out, curving over your face. That could suffocate you. You're panicking because I don't like to be held down either. That freaks me. I don't like that. But then to jump up and be, to do that, you have to know that you have, it has to give you a confidence to do other things from that.
Something definitely changed. I think something clicked in me because I realized that I was braver than I realized that I was. It was a couple years ago. Now,
was it before the first ATT?
It was. Yeah, I think it was before I met you. I think it was probably the fall before I met you, Annette. So it was like right before the first Journey to Truth that I went to, which was their second. But anyway, when I went back and I looked at it, and I was thinking I was going to see some like reptilian or something like that, and I actually saw this other thing, which I will pull up to show you.
But yeah, I mean, that stuff would be, I mean, but you know what? If you stay in panic and if you stay in being scared, that's exactly what they want. And who knows what other little, energy vampires will come. But that's got to be unnerving.
Here, you do it.
Sure.
Now, the being that I saw, it was not as dense as this. It wasn't as material as this. It's just with AI's help, you can only get what you can get. But it was a tall gray. It was a little bit less dense than this. I don't know that it was necessarily a 3D being, but it wasn't ethereal either. It was like something kind of in between. And that was what was standing over me, and that's what did that with the pillow. And I believe that there was also a small gray that was at the end of the bed. I can't be sure, but it felt like when I went back and looked at it a couple of times that there was more than one being in there.
By like the foot of the bed?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you look at it, it looks so frail that you can just grab his neck and crack it. But
it was really tall.
But they're tall, and they have a lot of up in the head here, right? They do they do it physically, or they do it telepathy wise?
I'm not sure. I just saw him standing next to me and realized that I didn't see the action of what he was doing. I just saw him there.
If I had a head this big, I better be able to do telepathy.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying.
Anyway, so you can stop sharing screen. But that's what I saw. So anyway, at that point though, it really changed me because as I moved forward, one thing I realized was that frequency was super, super important. And it was fun to kind of dive in and realize that I could do these things and go and to do them. But I realized too that, maybe my frequency needed to be a little bit higher so that I wasn't interacting or coming into contact with beings that were like these. So, I mean, not the fairies were,
And also how important it is to protect yourself first and make sure you're fully.
Everything changed.
Especially when you're exposed.
Especially astral traveling like I did, and then having like a couple of more astral things. It's in the book too about another astral thing that I got, like this, like astral snake kind of worm thing, and it went right into here, and then it's in my book, but it was crazy. And clearing that
took a while.
That was scary too.
That one took a while, yeah.
Because I could actually feel it, and it was like hurting. It was like burning. Like it was a burning sensation. It was running down like my whole side of my body. So that was scary. But I did clear it, and
it's amazing how many things we do in our everyday life that we can get attachments. Not only get attachments, but those attachments are waiting for you to do those things. And one of them is like if you astral project, like when you're first starting out, and if you don't protect yourself the right way, I
was so green. I didn't even know that I needed to. I just was like, cool, I'm going to do this and do that.
Also, what about the surgeries?
Yeah.
They said, like, if you go for surgeries, when you get put out, they can put attachments in there. And I had like several, because I had so many surgeries saying I had all these devices in me. And that's where she was naming the devices were. That's where a lot of my pain center, where I was having a lot of pain in the different areas. And so to get them removed. And then when I went for my neck surgery, after I learned about that, I had I called in, had the archangels in the four corners to protect me. And, because you start, once you know better, you do better. But in the beginning, man, you gotta be careful.
Yeah. And then one time when I was really newer to doing this, it was probably maybe 6 months after this. I was meditating in my room, and all of a sudden, this like portal opened up in my room. Like I'm watching this swirling thing that was happening, and this kid came out of it. We have a picture to show with that too. As soon as John's done with that part, well, I don't want to disturb his. Okay. And I also wrote about this in my book. And this kid came out, and he looked like he was dressed from like the Amazon forest or something. Like it was really strange. And I kind of thought, like telepathically, was saying to him, like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Kind of a thing, because I was like kind of shocked, like it was jarring, and he just like backed up and slowly left the room, and then just kind of disappeared. And I was just kind of sitting at the end of my bed with my eyes probably as big as saucers, just kind of going like, what the hell was that? What just happened? And my guidance immediately chimed in and said to me that he was a shaman in training, basically, and that he meant no harm, he meant no disrespect, and that's what that was. And I was just like, wow, that was crazy. Mm-hmm. So that was probably that was unnerving. It was, I mean, he didn't do anything. It was just like watching the like light appear, because it comes like a prick of light at first. And I didn't necessarily see it at first. I just sensed something. And when I opened my eyes, I could see this like swirling, growing thing. And then this kid walks through, and I was just like, mm-hmm. It was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah. Which, you know what? I really got to get to work, because I'm not vision heavy, I guess, but
yeah, you're knowing heavy. Like, yeah, like everybody's got their own thing.
Yeah, I'm learning how to have confidence in that first voice, that first thing that I get, and I'll tell her, okay, so this is what I just got, because usually I get that thought and then I explain it away and go like, yeah, well, I probably got that because of blah blah blah. But I'm starting to get a little better and better with having confidence in that, and that's still small voice. If you can keep quiet yourself a little bit, you can hear it, and that's But that I think I get audio more. It's nice getting the visuals. It's probably fun to see that stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's definitely been a really fun and interesting kind of situation. It was. I had a few things at the very beginning. A lot of this stuff is in my book, so it was like the earlier on stuff. Now, I think a lot of my interactions seem to be more with non-physical beings, or non-physical consciousness, and I don't know if that's a frequency thing too, or because I do see like angelic beings, like I have that, but some of the consciousness that I speak to, I started having interactions with some of the things that are here, like on the planet, that you never would think to interact with. Mountains, like actually having interactions with mountains. I know that sounds insane, but literally trees, bushes, crystals. The interesting thing about crystals is that they are a conscious being. I mean, it all is really, they all have a consciousness to it, but they're like a really strong consciousness. And they have just a really interesting.
And they all have their place. They all have their strengths and not weaknesses, or just kind of, they just have their strengths on what they do. But each one can do certain things, and they complement each other, or can complement whatever you're going through or whatever you want to build. They can just amplify it for you. And what's really cool is that she was getting, when she's talking to people, she's getting, what crystals they should be working with. But, sometimes, yeah. But this was before you had we couldn't even pronounce most
at the beginning. Yeah. It was weird, because it was like, I would see a color for them, or I'd see a color around them, and then all of a sudden I would see like a crystal, and sometimes I would get a name, and it was real. It was like a real name. It was like a real crystal, and I didn't know much about crystals, so it was like weird because I would be like, what? It's like I'm hearing someone sounds like kunzite or kunzite.
Yeah. She's like, so if you want to look it up, you can look it up and see.
Yeah, and then it would be,
and then it would be right on the
thing.
money. Yeah, it was like right on what she was. It was. People would just literally start crying. They started crying when she started because she was hitting like a nerve with them, what she was getting. It was pretty. In the beginning, it was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was interesting. So, but anyway, so that was some of the stuff. We're like over an hour now, so we had more stuff we could show, but we'll save it for another time.
Yeah, there's a way to do the PowerPoint, and I really would love to show you guys because there's really good stuff on there. But yeah, it is what it is. I guess we'll get better. But one thing I just want to just kind of sum up of my the beginning part of it for me is that make sure even I was just coaching a family member on some of we're having some distress, and what you have to look at, even if a situation or say another person is toxic or doing something where it is really dragging you down because you really love that person so much, right? Whatever it may be. What you have to look at it for is you have to look at it and say without being neutral, say I'm grateful that you showed me who you are, and when this happens again, I know what I need to not say no, this is not for me, and stand strong in your power, and how to handle a very complex personality or whatever it may be, but you can't, everything is always not all bad and everything's not always all good. The person who gives you sometimes the most grief is the one who's also responsible for some of the strength that you possessed because you had to deal with that person. And it doesn't mean that person wasn't an asshole. Oh, he or she probably was. But that person is, when you want to look at things in that way, the reason being is if you don't come from a place of gratitude, of thank you for showing me that, and now I know what not to do. And now I know, how to deal with that. Or thank you for those calluses and those muscles I built up because now I know how to deal with people who have this illness or whatever it may be. When you look at it that way, it stops you from going down the path of using those horrific words. It's horrific. Oh, my family's, you get out of that. You can feel a little depressed. You can feel upset. You could, but you don't live in pity city. You don't like take up residence there. You feel it, and then you're off and moving because so even in the worst situations, and again, it's not for that person, it's for you, so you don't toxify yourself. And it's easier said than done, but if you can start getting there in bad situations, in good situations, it will be very, very easy. In bad situations, that's when it's hard to do it, and that's when you really need to do it, because that's when you separate the people who can really manifest quickly or manifest at all to the ones who aren't hitting it. So it's really important.
And I just want to, and it's true what you're saying is, and it's not easy to do. It's hard to have people like that and not get frustrated and not take it on and take it in. And, but it's so weird. It's like this last year, things really shifted for us. I think everybody's going through it on some level. It seems like you have to work through some of the things that maybe you wouldn't have necessarily tried to because you wanted to maybe not deal with them or not. And it's almost like you're being forced to kind of look at those things and deal with them. But I did want to just mention when Annette was talking about the last year, how she's been communicating with the land, animals and trees and stuff, and clearing and sending love and energy. Look at some of our sacred sites with Katie Mabry. She's gone around the country and done some of that stuff. And I'm with you. I'm doing that too. Communicating with trees has been phenomenal and interesting and beautiful. They are an ancient consciousness, and they see themselves as that way. They let you know that, they've been around, and they're around in a lot of places. It's not just Earth. And they feel connected, beyond here and beyond the geographic space that they're holding, which is phenomenal to me. I thought that was really, really interesting. And then when we were doing our sacred sites and we actually had that encounter with that tree that was talking to us, I don't know if you guys remember that, where we went up to Mount Charleston and the tree was telling us that there was a fire and all of these things. And we started looking around more, a little bit better, and we were seeing the signs that this had happened. And she was saying how she lost her family members and all of this, and then she had a new sapling, and she was so proud of it. Like, we would be of our children. I was fascinated by it. I just thought that was incredible. And the mountain chimed in, which was, I know you guys, I sound like a nut job, but I know I'm in the right. Like, if you're on our channel, you guys get it. But they oh, very cool.
It's a tree.
Yeah.
She's really in tune with them, and got me. That's how I got aware of it, because I would never go feel a tree for anything. But she did. Yeah, she got me there, and I was like, holy cow, I can feel it.
And you start realizing, like, rocks have a consciousness, which is crazy. Well, it seemed crazy, but it makes sense. I mean, if a crystal does, what is it? What is a crystal? Stone, right? It's a rock. And so do the rocks that aren't as pretty. They all have a consciousness too. And so you can literally communicate with all of these things. It's an incredible world that we're realizing that we live in. And it's so much bigger and more than we recognize.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And just really quick, to give an example of where you're, where it is like a kind of a corny statement, where your focus goes, your energy flows. I just want to say that when they teach you at the racetrack, when you're going around the turns at 120 miles an hour, and they're teaching that, when you're going around that turn, you're going into a wall almost, but you're turning. The biggest thing they train those race car drivers is to, when they're turning, to look at the road, because when you look at the wall, because it's in front of you, 100% of the time you hit the wall. When you're turning, even though you're going towards the wall, if you turn on where you want to go and you focus your energy that way, they miss the wall by like 2 inches, and they're going really fast. And I always remember that from, I don't know it was like probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I heard that. And I thought that was incredible, that even in a physical sense, not just in manifesting in your head, but in a physical sense, they weren't crashing. And they're going so fast, you crash, you kill yourself. I mean, that's incredible to me. Yeah. But
anyway, thank you guys for being with us. I had some inner earth stuff I was going to show you, and I had some UFO stuff. Maybe we'll get to that another time.
Yeah, we got to fix the PowerPoint, because the inner earth stuff that she had, the pictures are absolutely beautiful. I want to go there on my next trip.
Yeah, it was it was really cool. And some UFO stuff, and I saw a planetoid and stuff with some UFOs, and I saw a UFO over here, over that way, here in Vegas, over the Red Rock Mountain Range and stuff. So just some interesting things that we can share with you guys another time.
I hate to wrap up the show, because I love our people. I love our viewers. I like hanging out with them.
I know.
But anyway, guys, I'm gonna work on getting the PowerPoint ready because I'm excited. I'm gonna get the PowerPoint ready to go, and I'm sorry if I'm blowing your eardrums out. But guys, have a great night. It was great to have you all here and interact. And we're sending love to all of you, and we will see you soon.
And when do we do the live podcasts? He keeps yelling at me because he says that we need to get more regular on that. So we can get more regular on that. I try to give like a day's advance usually, but I'll try to be better about it. And maybe we'll get a regular day that we're actually. That's what we're going to do. We're actually doing it. We're going to get a regular day and time that we're going to be doing this. But and we'll get she'll put it out. Let us know, Annette, if there's a time that's better for you, or anybody that is interested in these and find them, that you want to participate. Let us know if there's a day or a time that works better for you, and we'll try to see if we can make that happen. So,
all right, take care.
We love you guys. Yeah. We'll see you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Yes, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.